All right, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges in modern software. How do you actually know what's going on inside that massive, complex web of microservices you're running? We're going to break it all down.
You've been there, right? You've got dozens, maybe hundreds of services running, and when something breaks, it just feels like you're staring into this giant black box. Trying to find the root cause of a problem, it can be a total nightmare.
And here's the real kicker. The old way of doing things, manually going in and adding observability code or instrumentation to every single service, it just doesn't work anymore. It can't scale. It's slow, it's totally inconsistent from team to team, and honestly, it's just a massive waste of your developers' time.
But what if? What if there was a way to get all that deep visibility without touching a single line of your application code? Well, that's the magic formula we're diving into. It's the combination of a service mesh and OpenTelemetry, which is this amazing open source standard for telemetry data that gives us what we call zero-code observability. It's a total game changer.
So let's just pause on that for a second, because the shift in thinking here is huge. The old way, we had way too many services to ever hope to instrument them all. The new way, we get automatic trace collection. The old way, adding that code was super hard. Now, it's zero code. And where telemetry data used to be a mess, completely inconsistent, we now get this beautiful standardization through OpenTelemetry. This is what makes managing modern systems actually possible.
Okay, so to really get how this works, we've got to break down the key pieces. Let's start with the first part of our magic formula, the service mesh. What is it?
Honestly, the best way to think of a service mesh is like a super smart traffic cop for all your microservices. It's this dedicated layer that lives right alongside your applications, and its whole job is to manage all the communication flying between them. Super important point, it's not part of your business logic, it's pure infrastructure.
Now, what's really cool about a service mesh is that it does so much more than just help with observability. I mean, it handles incredibly sophisticated traffic routing for things like canary deployments. It locks down communication with mutual TLS. It makes your system more resilient with automatic retries. The observability part, that's just one of its many superpowers.
And look, this isn't some niche experimental technology. This space is really mature. You've got several heavy hitters to choose from. Istio, Linkerd, Consul, they're all powerful options. For our purposes today, we're mostly going to focus on Istio as our main example.
Okay, so we've covered the what. Now for the fun part. Let's get into the how. How do these two things, Istio and OpenTelemetry, actually come together to give us that zero-code magic? Let's look at the architecture.
It all starts with something called a sidecar. Basically, the service mesh automatically injects a tiny proxy, in Istio's case, it's called Envoy, right next to your application's container. Now, because this Envoy sidecar sits right there, it sees every single thing coming in and going out. It just automatically captures all that rich telemetry data, traces, metrics, logs, and forwards it to an OpenTelemetry collector. And from there, the collector sends it to whatever tools you already love, like Jaeger for tracing or Prometheus for metrics.
And how do you turn this all on? This is the best part. You don't do it in your application code. You do it with configuration. You just apply a simple little file to your cluster, something like this Istio telemetry resource, and that's it. You're basically just telling the mesh, hey, start tracing everything and send the data over there.
Done.
You know, I'm going to say this again because it's so important. All of that rich, detailed, distributed tracing data is now flowing through your system, and you did not have to modify your application, you didn't have to redeploy your service, you didn't even have to ask a developer to add a single library. It's incredible.
And by the way, this whole pattern isn't just an Istio thing. Other popular service meshes, like Linkerd, follow a very similar model. Their sidecar proxies can also capture all that telemetry automatically and send it on its way. So this strategy is something you can use pretty broadly in the cloud-native world.
So we've seen the how. The tech is elegant, it's powerful for sure. But why does this really matter for a large organization? Let's talk about the actual business value, the payoff.
The benefits here are just massive. Zero-code tracing means your teams can ship features faster. Standardized telemetry means everybody across all your different teams is looking at the same kind of data. They're finally speaking the same language. And that leads directly to faster root cause analysis, which means less downtime and, of course, happier customers. And it perfectly sets the stage for what's coming next.
And we are not talking about small wins here. For a typical enterprise, this kind of approach can save literally hundreds of engineering hours. Just think about that for a second. That's a whole team freed up for a sprint or two to build your next big feature, instead of chasing down bugs by digging through manual logs.
And this is the real forward-looking payoff. By creating this constant stream of clean, standardized, super rich telemetry data, what you're really doing is building the perfect foundation for AI ops. You're feeding the future AI and machine learning models that are going to automate anomaly detection, predict failures before they happen, and even drive automated fixes.
So let's wrap this all up by looking at how to do this the right way and what this really means for the future of how we work. Now, for a real-deal production-grade setup, there are a few pro tips to keep in mind. You're going to want to use the OpenTelemetry protocol, OTLP, everywhere you can for consistency. It's also a good idea to deploy your collector in what's called a gateway mode for better scalability. And finally, use smart techniques like tail-based sampling to keep your costs down while still making sure you capture the most important, interesting traces.
So when it all comes down to it, what's the ultimate takeaway? It's this. Putting a service mesh together with OpenTelemetry isn't just some clever technical trick. It is a strategic blueprint for the future of operations. It's automated, it's AI-ready, and it is how modern cloud-native systems are going to be managed. The question really isn't if you need this kind of visibility anymore, it's how quickly can you get there.